Apparently there's a lot of people who aren't good at converting beta carotene into vitamin A, and people like that are likely to have poor outcomes with a vegan diet. Veganism almost did kill me, and it wasn't until I shifted my diet that I realized how ill I'd been throughout the whole time, and how much of a decline my health had been in, like cognitively and physically. So like I haven't played basketball in 3 years, and I stopped playing basketball because like in 2017 I was like, I've got a hip injury, it's not healing. Right, let me take a year off to make sure it heals. And then in 2018 I went back to play and I was like, oh, my hip's still not healed. Like, I don't know what, I'm just gonna have to stop for a while. And then obviously I got ill and like I haven't played since. So, but like that in itself, like a nagging injury, like 3 years not healing, like, all right, something's wrong here. You need to recognize that something's wrong here. I was trying to tell this to like my cousin, like, because I'm asking him like, how's your diet going? He's like, yo, I feel great. How's your injuries? Oh, I've still got this injury and that injury. I'm like, it's not adding up. Like, if this is so amazing for your health, our injuries shouldn't be lingering this long. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves. Like, something persisting so long is there's something not going right within the process. And on top of that, like when I mentioned cognitive stuff as well, like I had brain fog, like my mental like ability or capacity was declining, and I hadn't even realized. Like there was a point where I had no access to my memories. There was just literally a black fog, and all I had was like maybe an emotional like connection to things. So like if something sparked an emotional connection, then I could maybe access the memory, but it was through this black fog in my head. And it was just like, eventually I realized, I can't really remember anything, but it's okay. I'm cool. But again, it's another indicator of declining health. I suspect, I mentioned aphantasia to you before as well. The basically seeing images in your head. So like visual imagery in the mind. And it's something that I could do before, but I eventually lost the ability to do it. And it's like, I can't see pictures in my head anymore. But it's cool. I'm okay. But like, why did I lose that? Why am I not asking these questions? Because I'm just operating from the frame of what I'm doing is healthy. And if I'm not feeling good, then I just need to go harder. And it's just like, it took me a while to realize that like my health had been in decline. And on top of that, I think another thing that I never considered was the bioavailability of the nutrition in plants. So one thing like a lot of carnivore proponents will say is that like the nutrition in meat is more bioavailable, more accessible for the body, and that like plants have all these like anti-nutrients that kind of hold on to things, and kind of they have enzyme inhibitors and all these things that can affect your ability to digest things, that both the plants and things eaten with the plants, and stuff like that was never brought up to me. Like when you'd hear people, they're just like, I need meat. I don't think that's healthy. But like the suggestion that, you know what, you need to investigate the bioavailability of what you're doing. And it's the same with vitamins and supplements. And it's the same with meat as well. Like some people, like there's stuff in there that's not available to them. Like you need to make sure. It's all well and good thinking that these nutrients are in the food, but like we don't really have any way to check that they are. Like some scientists over here is telling you like, this, that, and the other, isn't it? But I can't check it for myself, so it becomes difficult. But again, like understanding bioavailability and the possibility that like the nutrition I thought I was getting, I probably wasn't. So like vitamin A is a good example. I think it's always listed as like plant foods are great sources of vitamin A, But what they're actually sources of is beta carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A. So basically, your body has to convert beta carotene into vitamin A. Whereas the form in meat is retinol, which the body can just make use of. But apparently there's a lot of people who aren't good at converting beta carotene into vitamin A, and people like that are likely to have poor outcomes with a vegan diet, where your body needs to convert this into that, but it's not good at doing it. So you're not going to have enough vitamin A simply because you can't convert it, or you have a genetic disorder that makes it difficult to convert it. But yeah, and there's loads of things like that I guess I wasn't aware of, and I'm only learning about now as I'm like shifting and trying to figure out ways to improve my health further.
So talking about deficiencies, at some point you had a calcium deficiency, which was almost catastrophic. Probably could have led to your death, potentially.
Yeah.
So was that a result of your diet, or was there other factors at play?
That was a result of like the calcium wasn't actually catastrophic. It was a result of a vitamin D deficiency, which that would have been catastrophic, because basically when they tested my vitamin D, the levels in my blood was undetectable. Yeah. So it like it didn't matter because of the vitamin D issue. It didn't matter how much calcium was in my diet. Like my body wasn't like, I refer to my calcium deficiency as dysregulation, because it wasn't really a deficiency of calcium. It was my body's inability to regulate calcium due to vitamin D deficiency, which is kind of like exemplary of the way all these like different nutrients and vitamins and minerals are all like interacting and causing like cascading effects. So because my vitamin D was depleted, it depleted my calcium, which dysregulated my calcium, which led to like a whole bunch of other problems and issues, which we'll talk about at some point. But because the doctors focused on my calcium, it took them a long time to deal with my vitamin D. But my vitamin D needed sorting for my calcium to sort out. And once they sorted out my vitamin D, then my calcium sorted out, like without supplementation, without anything, just like, so they suspected that my diet had led, that a poor diet or my vegan diet. This is another reason why it took me so long to like get off veganism, because the whole time they're looking at my calcium saying, oh, your vegan diet has led to a calcium deficiency. Now, as soon as they started supplementing vitamin D, then my calcium recovered and it was fine without supplementation, like from that point on. So when you're telling me that the way you're eating is causing this problem, and like, well, it's not the way I'm eating, it's because I live in England and there's no sunshine, and that's the issue. When you're trying to convince me that my diet is a problem, like, it's a bit difficult when you've got it wrong to begin with. Do you know what I mean? But